Hey everyone, and welcome to a little discussion video for Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now that the hype in me has died down a bit, I want to do an official, my own little a longer thoughts and reactions kind of video thing where I'm just going to be speculating about some stuff. I've made a little list off the top of my head about certain stuff that I think is gonna play a big role in it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, why not speak about what's right there on the box, the legendaries. Now I know loads of you have said this already, and loads of people think it already, and I'm gonna have to agree with you that the Pokemon on the box look like mega forms of the legendaries, and that might tie into on Ruby and Sapphire with the red and blue orb. Maybe they were the Mega Stones, so that could be something interesting there. But then you got to wonder whether it's because it's near enough a given that Groudon and Kyogre are going to get Mega Forms. But what about Rayquaza, or Rayquaza, however you want to say it? Is he going to get a Mega Form? Where would his Mega Stone be? Maybe it's not just tied down to Groudon and Kyogre getting Mega Forms. Maybe there's going to be a lot more Gen 3 Pokemon getting Mega Forms now. Maybe it's going to be other legendaries like Jirachi or something. A Mega Jirachi would be terrifying. If he kept Serene Grace, that'd be absolutely terrifying. I would not want to fight that at all. But I definitely think it's going to have something to do with the red and blue orb to do with their Mega Forms. If they are Mega Forms on the box, that's kind of what I'm thinking, because although Groudon does look similar, he just kind of looks a bit more detailed. Kyogre has sort of a different colour scheme. The lines on him that are normally pink are now a faded kind of yellow colour, and he's not as blue as he normally is. He's more of a deeper blue now rather than a lighter blue, so Kyogre definitely looks a bit different, whereas Groudon just looks a bit more defined and crisp, and he just looks a bit more attention delivered. But definitely gonna have to keep an eye on that one. Remember when it comes to it about these red and blue orbs being the Mega Stones. But yeah, definitely something to think about with the other the other legendary Pokemon. So while we're on the topic of Megas, I'm going to go on to Mega Starters as well. Because, as many of you know, we already have Mega Blaziken, who is Gen 3, and I hope you see where I'm going with this. Possibly a Mega Sceptile and a Mega Swampert as well now, because it would be a bit weird to have a game when we already have Mega Pokemon and only have one starter able to go Mega, because everyone would just pick Torchic, it'd be ridiculously strong. So I feel like it's really, again, I feel like it's almost a given that we are going to get Mega Sceptile and Mega Swampert at some point. How we obtain them, we don't know yet. Possibly, maybe Professor Birch gives them to you at some point. Maybe you find it at like Cave of Origins or something, or that's a bit late on in the game, if the Cave of Origins is even still there at that point. Maybe Steven gives it to you, because in the original Ruby and Sapphire, they do go on saying Steven is quite the stone enthusiast. Like, he goes a bit crazy about stones and evolutions. I think at one point it gives you like an Everstone or something, I don't know. But they do go a bit crazy about saying how he's so intrigued about evolutions and stuff. So he might possibly give you the Mega Stone for your evolution, depending on which one you pick, kind of thing. And then that ties back into other Gen 3 Pokemon getting remakes, because why just give him to the starters when you can give him to other Pokemon as well, such as Crobat. That'd be amazing. So, quick little thing down below. So while you're at it, why not leave a like down below and post a comment on which Mega Pokemon you think is going to come out. Which Mega Pokemon do you want to see in Ruby, or in, sorry, I have to get used to this, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? What Gen 3 Pokemon do you want to see get a Mega Form in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? Ooh! I just thought, how are the Kalos Pokemon going to come into it? Are they going to be Kalos Pokemon you can catch in the wild in Hoenn? Maybe they do a migration thing? Maybe a few of them are finally going to get Megas as well. Oh, some Mega X and Y Pokemon could be on the way. Oh, that could be dangerous. Mega Slurpuff? That'd be scary as hell. Anyway, on to new things. As I've been saying, we have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Where does that leave Emerald in the whole scheme of things? Because Emerald was a very popular game. I know a lot of you guys who are big Emerald fans. I'm one as well. Emerald was huge. And one of my favourite games for Pokemon. So where does that leave that? Is Emerald not going to get Is Emerald not going to get a remake? Are we not going to have... Because Ruby and Sapphire have been named Alpha and Omega, and that's the beginning and the end, as many of you know. It's the beginning and the end of the Greek alphabet, it's in the Bible, it's got its biblical terms and stuff, but that doesn't leave much room for Emerald. You can't just put Emerald in the middle as like Gamma or something, because that would just be weird. We already have Alpha, which is the beginning, which would possibly be Groudon or something. No, its beginning is Sapphire, which is Kyogre, and then you got the end, which is Groudon. So you can't just put Rayquaza in the middle, because then that just kind of makes it a bit weird, because then you've got beginning, middle, Rayquaza in the middle. It's just, it's like weird, it's odd. But I don't know, I don't think there's going to be an Emerald remake, and if there is, I'm not sure what they would call it. I don't know what they would call it that would fit in with Alpha and Omega. You can't call it Gamma or Beta or something, because that's just weird, because then you've got ABZ or AGZ, and it's just odd. But on top of that, these games are coming out on November, this year, 2014, November. That doesn't leave much room for what many people thought Pokemon Z was going to come out, because when they made Ruby and Sapphire, that was out for a while, and then they made Emerald after that. But now that we've got Emerald, now that we've got X and Y, and everyone was expecting Z to come out, rather than Z come out now, they've brought out Ruby, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. So what's going to happen to Pokemon Z now? Is there not going to be a Pokemon Z? Is Pokemon Z going to come out later on? Because they even done the same thing with Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. Diamond and Pearl came out, then Platinum came out, and then Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out. The remakes came out after we had those 3 games already. At least that's how I'm pretty sure it was. If it's not like that, just disregard that. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that's how it was. So if that's how it was, I can't see Pokemon Z happening. And in that same vein, I don't think, unfortunately, much to my displeasure as well, Pokemon Emerald is not going to be happening, which means our character might not be in their sweet green outfit rather than the stupid red one that's upsetting. But while I touched on Alpha and Omega, I want to go back onto that right now and talk more about the names they've picked. Alpha being the start of the Greek alphabet, Omega being the end. Everyone knows the biblical reference where in the Bible God says down to everyone, I am the Alpha and Omega. Loosely translate into I am the beginning and the end. But when you apply that to Pokemon, that sounds a bit weird, because Pokemon's not normally like that. To describe Groudon and Kyogre as the beginning and the end, it's a bit odd, because they are, one made the ground, one made the water, so technically together they kind of made the earth, which is like a god thing. We already have Arceus, the Pokemon god, but they were kind of like the building blocks for the earth. So I don't know what that means, but then there's another meaning behind the Alpha and Omega which not many people will take into account, and that's the apocalypse meaning behind it, because Alpha and Omega, it's the beginning and end, the start of the world and the end of the world. So it's very odd, and even in the original Ruby and Sapphire games, there was a lot of hints that, like, when you was doing Ruby or Sapphire and you awaken Kyogre or something, or you awaken Groudon, then the team leaders would start to say this could be the end of the world as we know it, because it was going to get flooded or dried up or something. But it's not something you see much in the Pokemon world, where the world would just end. I know we saw it in X and Y the last game, but this one's a bit much. Like, the last one was like a laser from space, that was just ridiculous. But this is like actual nature events kind of thing. But then you can look at the other end for the other meaning of Alpha and Omega, which is eternity, because it's full cycle. Everything has a beginning, everything has an end. So you could see it as the end of the world, or you could see it as the world will forever keep going. Groudon and Kyogre will forever be polar opposites and in battle and stuff. And I don't know, I'm thinking a lot into this. This is just a speculation video, but I just wanted to give you guys maybe a little bit of food for thought there with those names. Maybe research it a little bit yourself. Tell me what you think down below. Leave a like down below as well, and let me know, because I think the names have a bit more meaning than what I'm giving it credit for. Before we go though, I'm just going to touch on a few little littler aspects about the games which people have mentioned that I'm not too sure about. The first one I've seen people mention is Pokemon following you. I'm really sorry, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think if they were going to do Pokemon following you again, like they done in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I think they would have done it in X and Y. I really don't think they're going to be doing that, especially with the way the X and Y games have gone with your character perspective, whereas it's not as much bird's eye view, more sort of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of like behind, it's still top down, but it's sort of behind the character's head, rather than just looking straight down. So I don't think you're going to get Pokemon following you, to be honest, in this. I'm sad about that. I would have preferred it, but I don't think it is. And this is one I just thought of myself. Something that was only in Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald didn't make the transition really that much, and that is the contests. The Pokemon contest, the contest hall, the Pokeblocks, May from the anime. It was all so new and exciting when it came out, and then when we had to do it, everyone, well, most people freaking hated it. But now, with the new capabilities of the 3DS, we've seen what it can do. We've seen all the graphical stuff it can do, all of the animations from moves it can do. What could this do to the contests? Possibly you could control the Pokemon yourself in the contests. Maybe you could do something similar to the trainer PR video that we do in X and Y, and you could coordinate a routine with you as the trainer, or coordinator if you will, and your partner Pokemon, like they do in the anime, where you come out, your Pokemon comes out, and you show off your Pokemon's moves, and you as such as a team. That would be something that would get me doing the contest, that's for sure. So again, just all speculation at this point, but something to think about. I feel like the contests have been looked over a bit, and it's one of the first things I thought, wow, damn, the contest tool. But that's going to be pretty cool. Also, I'm going to be intrigued to see how they handle the sheer amount of water in Hoenn, because whenever you mention Ruby and Sapphire, everyone knows surf. There's a lot of water in that game, so I wonder how they're going to make that. I can't imagine them just having a load of flat blue. I imagine they're going to put something like maybe like reefs, like barrier reef or something, or I don't know. And I want to see how they do dive again, because we got to go underwater at some point, because you got to get into the cave. So underwater I think is going to look amazing, but that means the return of HM dive. Ugh. Actually, they might just keep it a TM like they done Flash, but still, all this new and stuff. So, that's going to do it for my speculation, guys. Leave a comment down below what you think. Leave a like if you agree with any of the points, if you thought I was talking sense and stuff. If you didn't think I was talking sense, you can leave a like anyway, because leaving a like's fun. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Hope you all enjoy the games. I know I will. But for now, take care. Bye-bye.